Yo there guys, this is Cobb and I've got a bunch of questions to answer for you all on this chilled Sunday. If you would like your question answered, put it in the comments below and it might just feature in the next episode of Sundays with Cobb in a fortnight from now. First off, Graceful Leper asks, "Hey Cobb, what's your opinion on the damage reduction on Chaos Bolt? Would this make you switch to Affliction or Demo?" For those of you who don't know, Chaos Bolt was tweaked, or rather stealth nerfed in 5.3, having its damage reduced by 25%. Now first of all, I think personally Chaos Bolt was hitting a little bit too hard in patch 5.2 and did need a change. However, the change should have been a cast time reduction alongside a damage reduction and not just a flat out nerf. Chaos Bolt in 5.3 is pretty much not even worth casting unless you're using it alongside a Dark Soul or an unused PvP trinket. The damage it does without cooldowns barely justifies the risk that you take of being locked out when going for a kill. The main thing that annoys me the most now though is how a Mage's Frostbomb crit now hits the same as a Chaos Bolt. It has a shorter cast time and requires no special resource at all to use. Because I can accept a nerf, I can deal with it and learn to adjust my playstyle to adapt, but there are certain things in the game that just make me facepalm a little bit, and this is definitely one of them. As to will I switch to Affliction or Demo now, my stance on that is always the same. I will always main a Destrolog. I did it all the way through Cataclysm, which was a horrific year and a half for all Destrologs. If you ever see me playing Affliction, it will be in Arena, and it will be because I don't want to feel like I'm weighing my teammates and friends down. Sometimes I just want to be viable, and that really makes Destruction sound worthless as an arena spec, which it isn't. It's still viable. The problem is that this season right now is being dominated by Hunter, Death Knight and Retri Paladin combinations. This means you really don't have time to cast anything as Destro spec before you find yourself sitting in a ghoul stun with 250k necrotic stacks. Things are pretty painful right now, so I'll be playing Affliction on my ults just for Arena, but as always, Cobb will definitely remain Destro. Next question is from John Perkins, and he says, "Hey Cobrak, I was just wondering at this point, what would you do if Blizzard gave you an entire expansion to work with and change with ideas you have in your head?" An entire expansion is just something that I would not be able to do. I think we all love to hate Ghostcrawler sometimes, but I definitely don't envy his job. In fact, there are a few things that I would change, and some of them would almost definitely cause people to mass unsubscribe. I would delete Baseline Resilience, PvP Power, LFR, Bind on Account Gear, Scrolls of Resurrection and the rewards for being a disloyal customer, and I might delete DKs too, just because I don't like them. I'd make Sylvanas the new War Chief because she'd get the job of killing the Alliance done in probably a week. And on a more serious note, something that really should happen to the game, I would 100% split the game in two, just have two separate games completely. Have a team of developers work on a PvE oriented WoW, and have a team of devs work on a PvP WoW, so we can really have a go for once at balancing the game in every possible aspect. So that's my answer. Not really a new expansion, just a lot of probably unwelcome changes. Mad Skizzles X asks, "In your opinion, what is the best class for PvP in patch 5.3? And I would say without a doubt it has to be Beast Mastery Hunters. You can put a Monk, Rogue, Retri Paladin, Warrior, Death Knight, Feral Druid or Enhancement Shaman with a Hunter and the setup is immediately immensely strong. Hunters have a plethora of instant cast CC, a built-in 1 minute cooldown trinket in the form of Bestial Wrath, and they deal a load of constant and pretty much unstoppable damage. I've hated them since TBC to be honest, and with the current state of PHDK in the arena, I hate them even more now." Zach Fountain asks, "Hey Cobb, I'm also Destrolog and have been for quite a while, and I was wondering if you agree with me when I say Destro was more enjoyable in Cataclysm even though the spec wasn't as strong as it is now." That's really interesting actually, because in a lot of ways Cataclysm was a more fun time to play Destruction. I think when a spec is weaker than others like that, like it was in Cataclysm, there's a degree of respect that comes around if you play it well and can get even a half decent rating with it. And looking back, there are changes that were made at the start of MOP that really weren't good for the Destrolog as, a spec. The majority of our best relying on Chaos Bolt is just one of those things. I think that all in all, Destro in MOP is more fun in more serious environments like RBGs and Arena, but I do for sure miss the challenge of queuing into a normal battleground as Cataclysm Destruction. Being the master of the control playstyle, Cata Destruction had a really old school feel to it that made you feel proud to play your spec, and I think that has unfortunately been lost a little bit in MOP. So it's hard to say overall whether I did really enjoy the spec more in Cataclysm or not. It might just be me being really nostalgic. But there are definitely a lot of things that I miss about Catadestro despite its vast amount of weaknesses. Fan of Sweet Movies asks, how do you efficiently and effectively macro your pet so it seduces your target quickly? The macro I use for pet seduction is just a mouse over macro. So I hover over my target, I hit the key and she goes and seduces their asses. It might seem quick because I've been using it for so long, but it's honestly just down to practice with mouse over macros. There's probably a faster and more accurate way of doing it, but that's what I find works for me. Now Little Boomy says, I am very polite and I don't know how to say that I leave the team to play with somebody else. Can you help me? And I'm pretty sure he means leaving an arena team that you've maybe been in for quite some time with friends. How do you politely go about leaving that team? I think that this is a problem that a lot of people have from time to time, especially when you've been playing with the same partners over, a very, very long time. And if that is the case, and you've been in a team for a while, and you're stuck at a certain rating, things aren't really improving, then you've really just got to tell your partners straight up. I mean, just go right ahead and say that you want to try arenas with someone else, or another group of people for a while, and maybe they should too, Make it clear that they should do the same, and that while you're gone they should try playing with other people too, as it really, really does help you to improve, guys. If they're your friends, they will for sure understand. I mean, people team hop all of the time in WoW now. It's really, really rare that you'll find players who sit in the same arena team, so just go for it. Zuhair Nasser, for the second episode in a row, is going to get his question answered, and he basically asks, do you play with people that you don't know? And that depends on how you define know. I used to play with a paladin called Tarthine, who was actually my sister's boyfriend in real life at the time, so it was really only him and my brother who I used to play with that I knew in real life. Now though, there's Pingu, there's Caben, Mac, Dibs, Panola, and all of these people who I didn't know one bit when I started out, but now I feel like I know them as if we've been friends since school or something. In fact, me and Sophie are going to be visiting Sweden to see Pingu and Caben later this year, which I'm really, really hoping to be able to vlog for you guys. But if what you're really asking is, do I play with people who I don't know now in-game, the answer would be no, not at the moment. I think once you've got your circle of friends going in WoW, you end up restricting yourself a little more when it comes to playing with arena partners and stuff, which is bad really. I should be making more of an effort to play with different people from time to time, but I guess it just feels good to stick in familiar waters in that way. Anyways guys, that's all for the questions on this Sunday. I'm going to be away over the next 3 days visiting Alton Towers Resort here in the UK for some epic rollercoaster action. I might even vlog some of it, who knows. Anyway, I'm going to catch all of you guys later and have a great Sunday.